Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Snowboard Instructor podcast. Firstly, before we even get started with this episode, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone. This podcast, from when me and Max started, has literally just been a passion project where it's me and Max just wanting to learn about the snow sports industry we're a part of, by just speaking to, the most amazing and interesting people in the whole of this industry. And it's been even better able to record these conversations and throw them up as these episodes, for you guys to listen to. And hopefully you guys learn something as much as we do, because that's kind of what we want to get out of it. Being able to push the snow sports industry, making it accessible to more people so people have a better knowledge and have more fun whilst doing it. So thank you. More or less on this episode, it's gonna not be our normal format where we speak to a lovely person of interest and get to know on their experiences and their feelings towards the industry. It's going to be more of a sort of chat between instructors. So Max went off to Canada for a few weeks and he basically took the microphone and he spoke to Mel, Jamie, Forbes and Jeff Chandler, two of which we've already had on this podcast. But these are three amazing CASI instructors who, for them, Max included, just chat about CASI and snowboard instructing in general. And I listened to it when editing to it, and it seemed to me, I found it pretty interesting. So I hope the same is the same for you guys as well. The next main episode we're going to be having, episode 5, which it will come out, is going to be with Gaz Vaughan. He is an amazing person to talk to, and he is one of the Olympic judges, and just in general a judge for the snowboarding industry in general. So we pick his brains on how the judging system works, as well as his life growing up to become a judge. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Don't overshoot in corners.
Man, I think I'm being judged by the stuff.
And the pros are like sitting there. They file in, and then they're sitting, and everyone's like, "Okay, this is what I came for."
Right. Yeah, this is the important part. Yeah, that's a little creepy up there.
Yeah, it's definitely. So, awesome. Thanks so much for coming, guys. If I just kind of go around the table again, just for everyone to introduce themselves and their positions in CASI realistically. Jamie, we've never had you on, but thanks for coming on.
I'm Jamie Forbes. I'm a current member of the National Technical Team, and I evaluate courses.
That's it.
Lots of courses.
Yeah, fair few.
Yeah.
And
Hi, I'm Anne from Nothing But Snow, CASI level 3, and owner of Nothing But Snow and Skeeler Gap.
yeah, Mellen?
Mellen J, current CASI National Technical Team member as well, and a level 4 evaluator.
Jeff Chandler, Director of Education Programs, and level 4 evaluator, level 4 CASI member as well.
Perfect. Again, thanks so much for coming on short notice with this nice little meet-up. But I just kind of want to get into the conversations, to keep it kind of free-flowing. But the main thing I want from you guys, just as a start-up question, is, why did you join CASI? Like, not just as an instructor, but like, what else did you feel like you've gotten out of kind of being in the system? Jeff, you want to start?
Well, I mean, for me, it's really been like a really kind of formative part of my life, right? Like, it's created a community that has really shaped who I am now. And like most of us, I've been a CASI member since before it was even CASI, so 27 years plus now, and it's created that community of people that I identify with, and it's not just a job or a work outlet anymore. It's definitely it's become kind of shaped who I am, really. And I think, I don't know whether I saw that at the start or whether that was something that I knew would happen at the start. Actually, I definitely knew that. Didn't know that was going to happen at the start when I was 14 years old, but it quickly turned into that. So
nice.
Yeah, I definitely would say CASI again is really formative in terms of what I wanted to do and what I have become. For me, it was, I actually saw that. I saw a really small community. There were 5 snowboard instructors at my mountain, and they were amazing, and they went out training every morning, and their turns were beautiful. And it's a really small hill, so you could see everyone. And I just wanted to be part of that. That was like, I saw that community, and I was like, I want to be part of that, and I'm like a lot more part of that than, and it's a, you know, it's a lot more than 5 people, but it's the same small community feeling. It's really neat. We're a worldwide organization, but it is really small. Always bumping into people I know,
definitely.
or 1 degree of separation, right? You know this. And it's cool. It means that you have a community of people all over the world who are only 1 degree apart. That's neat.
That's a great point. Yeah, it is. It is. You know, we do know people everywhere. Every mountain you go to, there's someone there like, oh, how you doing, dude? Like, yeah, and you see their progression every time that you see them, how they've changed, like, which is a really cool thing, you know. But everyone's super happy in this as well. You know, we are a family, we're a unit, and you know, I sort of fell into the instructing thing by accident. I wanted to just come to Canada and improve my snowboarding. And then, like you said, I saw these guys, like, you know, training together and this sense of community you had. And I was like, I want to be part of that, man. That's cool. These guys are getting a snowboard every day and have a great time and get paid. Wicked. Like, bring me in.
Yeah. Want that.
Yeah, sure. And then here I am, like, you know, 10 years later, and I've done that. Like, so it's just super cool. It is. And it's great to be part of it, you know, even from my side, how it, you know, we fell into it, and now we get to share what we do, you know, our passion with other people every day, and get them, you know, into this industry and the joy that it is. You know, it is. It's every day. It's not going to work, is it? You know, we're doing something we love, sharing feelings and passions with people. You know, we're a team.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's true.
What about yourself, Jamie? Like,
Yeah, I don't think I ever really set out to be an instructor. Came to Canada to do a season because I'd never been to Canada, and there was a level 1 course happening probably about a week after I landed. So I thought, that'd be cool to do, and just really got me thinking about what I was doing on my board, or maybe what I wasn't doing. Probably more like what I wasn't doing. That still happens, actually. It still happens a lot. It's more like what I wasn't doing. And then a job opportunity came up, and I thought, I'd love to go back. And I think I upset my parents massively in not going to school and studying and basically pursuing this. And, you know, it's, to go with what everyone else has said, it is a really small community, and everywhere you go in the world, whether it's Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, you know, different continents, everyone's doing the same thing. It's so cool. It's great, you know, to say what Anne was saying, where you just see changes in people. You might not see someone for a season, you might not see someone for 25 years. It just brings people together, and that's what's cool about it. It's awesome.
Yeah, kind of going on from that passion, like, you know, you have your qualifications, but then going higher into the system. What was like one of the main reasons why you guys wanted to do that and kind of go through to those higher qualifications? Because not just for the certifications, clearly you're doing it for more, of course, improving yourself. Was there any other kind of reasons why you guys wanted to do it? Or
I think the people that pursue it have a certain amount of kind of internal drive, intrinsic sort of drive, because as we all know, you don't do it for the 50 cent an hour raise, right? Which is sort of sad but true. Right?
Don't you? 50 cents, that's extra pack of ramen.
I mean, I can even think of myself going through from level 1 to 2 and then through that system there. I think there was just that sort of, there's this sort of built-in, the system has this sort of built-in like motivation to get to the next level, right? Tick off the next pin or the next certificate. So, and I think that it has to be that way because you have to derive some sort of like internal kind of reward from going through that. At least for me, that's how it was anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm pretty intrinsically motivated. I see a challenge, I go after it.
Yeah.
And just about everything. I think for me, it's a great way. The achievement doesn't come from gaining the pin or getting that certification. That's almost just validation for the training time that you put into it. So it's,
Really good point.
I enjoy that training up to it, that like every day going out and knowing what I have to do, what I'm going to think of, and where I'm progressing. It's those little daily wins where I know what the standard is, but it's the day-to-day basis of going out and training and knowing that I'm getting closer. So for me, that training cycle and that reward is what really motivates me to go out and do anything I do, and that includes taking off CASI certification levels. It's a measure, it's a benchmark of my training rather than a single one-day goal.
Yeah. Same with you guys?
I think, well, very, very similar. I get really stoked on seeing somebody, when I first started teaching, the stoke that I got was about sharing passion, passing on that spark. And they're getting it. It's clicking, and, you've created a snowboarder. And then moving on beyond that, and as I've personally moved up, and to go with what Jeff was saying, you've got to have a bit of internal drive for sure. But what that also allows me to do is help more people. The longer I spend in a particular resort, the more people there's been to train and keep them driving forward as well. So for me, it's like a win-win.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm motivated to train myself, but what that allows me to do is actually train others to a higher level and keep them engaged and keep them moving forward.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I do love that stoke level you get from just riding with it, like some of your friends and just other people. It's like, it's so good. Like, me and Ant had it like in Mont Tremblant last week, and we just kind of rode down these bumps, and then we came to the end where we were just like so hyped with it all, and it was the best thing ever. Like,
and it's those feelings and sharing those feelings like that you get from being able to move your snowboard the way that we can, because we're part of this system. Like, we've trained, like Mellen says, we've worked really hard, and the validation of getting the certificate is one thing, but the skill level that you've got because of that, and being able to, like you say, when we shredded that bump run, it's like a double black diamond. It's icy, but we slayed it and loved it. And I remember a few years ago when you first came here and we were trying to ride bumps over there and hating it.
I was just holding on.
Yeah, but the difference now, because because we were able to talk and share our knowledge together, and now you're smashing double black diamonds down the hill, and that passion and being able to share that feeling that we have when we snowboard with somebody else and get them to feel that's the drive to get higher for the levels for me.
But I think that part of it is that we're lucky enough to do an activity where that process of training, so-called training, is also really fun. So
it's fun. Yeah, of course.
It sort of happens. It just sort of comes with doing the activity, and if you really truly love it, and we've all seen. I mean, I've seen over the years that when the fun is gone, then the training becomes more of a chore. And you see it often, especially within the CASI system, or people chasing instructor certifications, that when it becomes something that they have to do and go out every day because they've sort of put themselves on this path of trying to get the level 3 or the level 4, it often doesn't happen. You need to maintain the enjoyment in the activity, because then I think the training just happens organically, right? And it's not even really training.
Daily reward, right? It's
daily
like,
reward.
I know what I'm moving towards. It's like training has to have fun to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think of myself back in the early years of teaching, and if I wasn't teaching a lesson, I was snowboarding every spare minute I had, right? And looking back now, it was great training, but at the time it wasn't training, like formal training, right? It was I was just out snowboarding because I loved it.
For sure, that's it. Don't lose focus on why we got into this. It's fun, the focus is fun every day, isn't it? And that's what I say. It's not a job, really.
Have any of you guys felt burnt out at all through kind of being in it?
Why don't you go with that one, Ad?
Your body starts to hurt, for sure, as the season goes on, especially when you're riding hard every day. But I don't know, again, you're just motivated. This isn't like a 9 to 5 job where it's a chore to go to work. It's not. You get up and you're like, wicked. You look out the window, you're in the mountains, there's snow outside, and then you go and get to do something that you love with your friends or people who want to learn from you, and then you get to share your knowledge with them. So, of course you get tired from time to time, and this is a wild industry as well, if you want it to be, we do, as my parents would have said, burn a candle at both ends sometimes, we're sitting in Sam's now, I only left here yesterday afternoon, but of course you get tired, but you just crack on and you get on with it, I think. And we're fit. I think because you're doing this, you are fit. You're
It's
like,
a healthy lifestyle.
it's a healthy lifestyle. It is.
It is amazing to me though how, like, think of how many thousands of times you've put your boots on, or how many thousands of chairlift trips you've taken, and it still is exciting and fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't think of any other activity in my life at least where it's held my level of enthusiasm for this long, right? Like, and I still, even this morning, I came up on my own and I had 90 minutes or hour and a half to do some laps on my own or with a friend, and last night I'm looking forward to it, right? So it's kind of cool that way.
Yeah, man.
I think the burnout stuff, it's amazing, especially for every instructor or every on-snow worker. When you're in the middle of the mid-season and it's pumping, if the snow's not too good, you're not seeing an end to it. But I guarantee that burnout disappears if you get a bluebird power day and you get the time to go ride.
Yeah.
And that's when we're kind of reinvigorated. And I think that's something, depending on season to season, people experience burnout. You know, we call it the mid-season blues, normally around February. Because, you know, out here in the Western Canada, you get a lot of snow. So you're getting dumped on basically from December through to February. You're not seeing much of the sunshine. You're probably working your backside off over Christmas just because it's busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely start to get a little bit on the burnt out side, especially if that candle's been lit.
Wouldn't do that, Jay, would you?
Exactly. not anymore. I'm maturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you get that power day, you get that stoke day, you get the time to go ride with your friends, and really without a massive training focus, it's just a case of going in like a decompression kind of thing, or just a valve that you can let off. I think that just reinvigorates you.
I was gonna say too, like even in the middle of like the busiest season, even when I'm feeling like maybe I'm feeling burnout in the evenings, what's amazing is that I get out and on snow, lace up my boots, go out, especially with a class or a group, and that's where I find that any sense of burnout just evaporates. When I'm in front of a group, when I'm crafting something, talk about training in terms of snowboarding, but when I'm thinking about how I'm crafting a lesson, and that can be like either somewhere between art and magic.
Nice.
And I am alive during that time. And other occupations, other things that I've done, I feel the burnout or I feel the tiredness dragging through. When I start teaching, that's gone. Absolutely gone. I'm in the moment. I am 100% present. And that's an amazing thing. I may be tired at the end of the day and the candle is burned and I'm asleep at like 8 p.m. But, I think that's a really unique thing about teaching snowboarding and having that interaction with people and creating something that's really neat. So.
To have stayed in it for this long, you're passionate about it, aren't you? And that's the thing. You want people to feel that feeling that you have. You know, we talk about feelings all the time in this, don't we? And like, it's not only the feelings that we feel in the board, but when someone else feels that feeling and you've explained it to them, and then they're like, their little face lights up and you get to the bottom and you're like, high five. Like,
I made this lesson for you.
Yeah. It's so cool. And like you say, all tiredness is gone. You're a professional. The moment you turn up, you're like, right, I'm gonna make these guys better. Like, and this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I think having that just really helps with, if you have a group, just the whole stoke of the group essentially, and everything just kind of bounces off each other, and it really helps with that and kind of like driving it through essentially. I'm curious actually, you guys were having a conversation a couple days ago about this, and you were really getting into it.
I don't know.
Can you guys remember what you guys were talking about in the pub when you were...
I often forget a lot in the pub.
We were talking about like the benefits of being a snowboard instructor, and we were talking, I think the conversation started about what's the benefit of becoming a snowboard instructor as a career change. And where that actually sparked was less about like, I'm going to do this for like 40 years as my new career, and like what we don't see a lot of people, like we're unique in this industry where we've stayed in this for a long time, but there's a lot of people that will come through our industry, will be part of our industry for a small or even smaller or a slightly longer amount of time, but then we're talking about the skill set that people take away.
Yeah. It's not just skiing and snowboarding, like, these that leadership that you get from this, how to be confident in yourself, stand in front of your peers. Like, you know, in what I do as well, bringing people into this industry, we get a lot of kids, they come here, you know, they're timid, they're scared, and like they're unconfident people. And by the time these guys have had 12 weeks with them, they're dancing on the tables in the bar and are able to stand in front of a group of people and command their attention, you know, and that's a skill, you know, that's not something that is particularly because you're a snowboard instructor, it's because you've learnt life skills here, you've matured, it's a really beautiful thing to be part of, you know. We're not just making people ski and snowboard instructors, we're developing them as humans, you know, and to go on, if they don't stay in this industry, we've given them other skills as well, you know, that they can take to other stuff, which is really cool.
I like one of the guys on your program a few years ago, he got culinary skills, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, blimey. I think I talked about that one last time we were on this podcast. But actually, Jamie and I went to Sun Peaks a couple of years back and we saw him again.
Yeah.
And he told us about another wonderful experiment that he'd done. Like after having learned how to cook toast, which I would have talked about in his first season here, he told us about scrambled eggs he'd made one night when he got home from the pub. And he didn't have any normal milk, so he put chocolate milk in with his scrambled eggs. Yeah, so cooking isn't something we teach.
But adaptability.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what?
Adapt and overcome. He learned from that, like it was a mistake.
Yeah, well, you've got to compare and contrast, right? If he tried it with normal milk afterwards, there's different lessons.
There you go.
It does work.
That's a building block.
Great job on getting the eggs cracked.
The example I always use, which is an interesting one about like skills that transfer over, is that my sister and I are actually we were both CASI members. And we taught together for a little while. And she since has gone on to do a PhD in mathematics, and she now teaches at university. And the first time I attended one of her lectures, I just about fell off my chair in this very packed lecture hall because everyone was coming to her lecture, not the other prof's lecture. So why are they so busy? Well, so I'm sitting, and then like it's pretty evident pretty quickly why. She's got basically the entire CASI learning cycle training over and over again. And it was just like her presence in front of the group was so CASI, was so snowboard, but she was teaching, you know, basically second year calculus to 1,200 students at a university, and they're lapping it up. But the way that she was able to command the group, the way that she was able to use these pedagogy principles, and it's neat because we still connect on that level of like teaching teachers all the time. We talk about that, even though we're in very different professions, our offices look completely different, but it's neat to see those skills in place. And I think that's something that so much in our world is presentations.
Yeah.
And so much in our world is building confidence. And I don't think there's a lot of programs that people go through in education that prepare people to get in front of a group the way that we get in front of a group.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, especially kind of more on the academic end for sure. You kind of you kind of see it more all about knowledge and just kind of everything like that, but not necessarily the communication side. I mean, most of those things you don't necessarily need to, but like something like lawyering, for example, you definitely need to have that confidence and presentation just to kind of be out on the crowd and get your points across. So it's definitely, it's definitely interesting to really see.